Hello, my name is Tom Shields. I'm Operations Director here at Pimbrook, and today I'd like to talk to you about a new feature called Excel integration, which is part of our Sage 50 inquiry tool, AccountsMate. So AccountsMate always had the ability to export to Excel and to other sources like Word or CSV or PDF. But the Excel integration is the next step. And this allows you to combine exporting of Sage data into Excel and then to automate some Excel features, for example, formatting or formulas or macros. And that allows you to then present Sage 50 data via AccountsMate and present it in a customized Excel fashion. And that, that can be replayed by just refreshing the data. Okay, so let's take an example. I'm going to take an example of a P&L report. So we're going to start in AccountsMate, and I've prepared a view. It's in the standard AccountsMate functionality. So I've gone into data analysis nominals. Okay, so nominal data I want. I've created a view for a particular year, 2021, January to December. It's old data. It's the profit and loss section of that, and I've extracted all the months, or all the months that has balances in there. So you see some of the months are missing, but any months that has balances in there. And I've saved that as a layout called profit and loss. Okay. So once that's as near as I can get, and as you can see, it's not a profit and loss report. It is profit and loss data, and it's structured that way, but it doesn't have things like a gross profit a total or a net profit total. It just has a grand total. So let's see if we can work with that. So I'm going to put this out into Excel integration. That's under the export function. So Excel integration, and this will put that data out into Excel, and it puts it out into an Excel file, which is now linked to that view. And in the Excel file, it has initially it has two sheets. One is a data sheet, and that is protected. You can't get into that, and it is frozen with the data that AccountsMate has exported. So the only way of changing that is to re-export the data from AccountsMate, which is what you want. The idea then is that you can use this data in other reports that you design how they look. And to help you with that, all the value fields are referenced by a name. So they begin with AM for AccountsMate, and then it's the relevant row and column information that identifies that. So for example, it's sales, product sales, January, that one. The next one is sales, product sales, February. If you go down a row, you've got sales, other sales, January, February, so on, and purchases, the same purchases, January, etc., etc. Even down to you've got the totals and the overheads. They're all individually referenced, and that allows you, as I said, to use them in your in any report that you create. And you create that by just simply creating a new sheet. So, for example, I could go in and say, I want to look at AM and get the list, sales, other sales for August. None. But product sales, January, there's something in there. January. And there we go. Okay, we've pulled that in. So that's the idea. But to make things easier, we've given you a starting point. So what we've done is we've taken what's in the data sheet, as in what was exported from AccountsMate, and we've created a mimic report in that structure. And we've used to do that. We've referenced the each of the data elements. There's a little thing here just to check for 0 that you don't display, but ultimately we've used the name of that data element, which means you can move that anywhere you want. So I can put it over here, and it'll keep that data. Okay. So let's start to customize this. So we'll clean it up. We'll take out that field there. We don't want that. Let's put, let's make the whole a bit bigger. And we will bold the titles or the labels. And now we're going to take off the grand total. We don't need that. I'll show you because we're going to create our own total there. So we'll take that off, and we'll take the total off, the grand total off the row of the bottom as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the missing field, because in this data, it'll be unusual in nominal data that you wouldn't have a full year of balances, but it across the whole nominal. So, but in this demo data we do. So I'm just going to insert that, add in September, add in November, and December, and I'm going to add in the total. Right. Same format. Okay. Right. So let's start tidying up some of the rows then. What we want is we have the sales total there. So let's highlight that a bit. So we'll insert there. We'll bold that stands out. And let's give it a border, underline that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And we'll do the same with purchases. Let that stand out there. Insert and bold and a line under. And we can do we'll let the direct expenses stand out a bit, and we will highlight the overheads as a total. Okay. Right. So let's put a gross profit line in. Again, like that. And that's going to equal the sales less the purchases less any direct expenses, which is the gross profit calculation. All right. And we copy that across. All right. So now you can start to see. So we've got the data as referenced straight from AccountsMate, which is your Sage 50 data. And now you've got, and we've moved that around. We've increased the rows, or moved the rows and shuffled it around. But also now we've added in Excel formulas, which are working off that. So it starts to allow you to expand then what you want to do. I'm using the features of both. So I'm going to give that a let this stand out. Okay. And let's say we put in a net profit. Before depreciation. Okay. I'll show you something here. Okay, so we're going to take depreciation has come out because the chart of accounts that included it like that, so it's come out in the middle of your overhead. So I'm going to cut that out. and I'm going to put it down below this. Okay, and that's moved it. Again, it's moved because it's moved the formula. You get the values that you want, and they'll stay linked back to AccountsMate and under your Sage. So your net profit before depreciation is, sorry, we can take that blank row out there now as well. Your net profit before depreciation is going to be equal to your gross profit minus your overheads, which is less your depreciation now, and that's fine. And we'll bring that all across. We're just doing normal Excel stuff here. Okay. Oh, no. We'll give that a bold. Okay. And then we'll do your final net profit. And that's going to be equal to your net profit minus your depreciation. Okay, you'd probably have things like taxation in there as well. I think that's normally what people do. Okay, and we'll bring that across. Okay, bold, and it's your final line, this one, so we put an underline underneath it. Okay, so we've got your, we've moved from the raw data, which was our original default report, and we've now got a more formatted presentation of the data. It's more a true P&L report, and we can do things, we can insert, and so cost. Okay. Just here. Okay. Right, so I'm going to delete that sheet there. We don't need that. And I'm going to rename the default reports. P and L. Okay. And I'm going to save it. Okay. Now, we close that. And we can refresh the data there if there was any other data from Sage 50. So we're in the same area of AccountsMate, the same layout, and that's important because that's where that Excel sheet is now linked to. We go to our Excel integration. There's any updated data from Sage 50 now, that's come back in. So we've opened our Excel data. It's put back in a default report, right? So you've got your data sheet again. It's added back in a default report because it's seen that it didn't have a default report sheet because we changed that and renamed it. So it's giving you a new starting point if you wanted to. But more importantly, it's kept our custom built report. Okay, so that's great. And I'm going to make some changes to this. So I'm going to add, let's say we'll add a budget or forecast and then a variance. Okay. So we might, this will be, for example, we'll enter a budget for the year. So I'm just going to go 350,000 as a total. The total, that's what we're hoping for. And the variance will be equals to this total minus the budget. So we're down that, and we can copy that up there, which will work. And actually, I didn't create a total here, so sorry. But that's going to be equals to the sum of all the months, including any months that aren't there, as in there's no, it's fine. Lovely. Let me copy that down. Right. Okay. That makes it better. Okay. So now we've added a budget and a variant we can add in. So you could put you wanted your sales to be 100,000, and that's great. We're up. We're up 95,000 on those, but the overall figure we're down minus 20, minus 270. So as I said, it's just to show you again you're adding in Excel columns and features, formulas, and combining that with the data from Sage. Okay, we'll save that. Okay, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the year. Again, I've got limited data in here, but I'm going to change it to the previous year, 2020 in this case. Refresh the data. Okay, same structure, which is again is important because that's what the Excel integration for this view is relying on. But obviously it's different data. So we've actually no sales in this case. We've got just purchase and overhead, which is a bit unusual, but as I said, it is demo data. But let's see what that does now. We'll go into our Excel integration, which should bring back up our linked Excel file. Okay, and this is our report sheet that we've done, and you can see, yeah, no sales, but we have purchase. It was 6,000, wasn't it? One of the figures there, 6,000, yeah, for purchase, etc., etc. All of the data is still there, as in the space holder for the data we've put. Everything is linked back to our Sage, and even our budgets are still there. And obviously, it's calculating the variances now based on the new data. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea what you can do. As I said, the main thing is that it's combining the power of Excel and all its functionalities with live data from Sage 50 routing through AccountsMate. Thank you very much.